Hello, welcome to the 25 days of Tai Chi Walking series. My name's Chris. I've developed this course. I've been training Tai Chi for about 27 years and been teaching for decades as well. I'm a rehabilitation specialist as well, so I've rehabilitated a lot of my own injuries and injuries in clients as well. I work with the human body every day. I work with joint injuries, tendon problems, spinal problems in particular every day. So I have a lot of insight into what works, what doesn't, what needs to happen for the body to stay well and stay strong. Tai Chi is a very effective way of building real strength inside your body and long-lasting health. So to build fitness in your body and build that everlasting strength, it needs to be built on a robust health first. So where Tai Chi is the first road you go, is health road first. Then gradually as you're able to practice more, you get the skill of what you're trying to do. What we're aiming to do, the concepts are embodied in your body, then you can load it more, spend more time on it, and it just develops more and more out of your body. And Tai Chi is one thing that keeps opening your body year after year. How the body moves and is best moved is called biomechanics. It's biomechanical principles placed on the human being. So there's known what needs to happen in terms of joint relative motion, joint to joint relative motion. It's known what should be happening. And when something's not happening, then another joint has to take extra load. So a big part of Tai Chi training is called load sharing. So after a while you feel in your practice like the whole body's engaged. There's not one part of the body that isn't involved in the motion. And that term is called biotensegrity. So biotensegrity has an overall structure and also a segmental or regional idea as well. So when we work with biomechanics, we're working with, if we look in the feet, the big toe and the toes should better move. Should better do a big motion here. So it's part of just normal walking. It's a toe off principle. If you're really restricted in your big toe or there's pain there, it affects how your hips moving. You get short hip flexor, you get a shorter stride length on one side. There's asymmetries that develop more in your body. So we want to make sure the big toe is moving well. The midfoot here, the back of the foot and the forefoot should better twist independently of each other, which means these joints here, they're very strong, taking our body weight all day. So we need to have flexibility there. If we don't have the flexibility here, there's a knee that when you move, the knee always wants to track in because there's not enough flexibility here. Or you turn it out and that wants to peel off the edge here. So we want to have good movement in the midfoot, which is to do with supination or the upward turn of the foot, and pronation. So the foot should better make these kind of motions here, and often they're lost. What that does, it overloads the knee incredibly much, and that has a big effect upon the hip. Can even be the reason why some people have jaw issues that don't go away too. So the whole body is linked, everything is linked up. The knee should be able to bend and straighten fully. If you have a knee replacement, there'll be about a 120-degree limit on the knee bend, and we don't force that, of course. The knee also has a rotational component. So with my knee not moving here, the patella not moving, I'm actually turning from my shin here. So I need to have that motion, especially the internal rotation going in here. So we'll train that. That's highly needed with internal Kung Fu training, with Tai Chi training. So we've got to make sure that's happening. The hip needs about to internally rotate, externally rotate, bend well, and about to extend. The extension also allows adduction, or the hip to move across the center line as well. So we've got to make sure those movements are in there. So there's room in the joint for the joint to make motions. Some people are very limited in this range here. It means that the joint is actually already in a lot of external rotation, and when you turn more, it just keeps butting up against the rim of the acetabulum in the hip here. So we've got to make sure there's space, there's clearance, so things can move. We've got to make sure the sacroiliac joint at the back, make sure that can open. It's got about 3 degrees of movement, that it can move. That you really understand how to move through here, that your brain can connect here and rotate in without the knees. See this motion here? That's me moving actually from my ankles. There's not really movement from here at all. If I stop moving my ankles, there's no movement here. So I want to be able to keep the knees still and still be able to rotate here. As I turn, I feel a spiral through this leg and a spiral this way. So I feel the weight go into this edge of the foot, into this edge of the inner foot here. But I don't lose the tripod. So the tripod's very important, extremely important. And I'll focus on it a lot. So the very center of the heel, knuckle of the big toe, knuckle of the little toe, there should be a tripod weighting equally. So 50%, 50%, 50% of your weight through most movements, especially when you've got weight in one leg. problems come when there's not enough weight in the heel that goes to the forefoot. It overloads the patellar tendon here. The center of mass, when you do that, it starts to come forward, not a proper sit here. So even the dantian can't form properly. So actually the body creates tension, can't breathe properly because the respiratory diaphragm going through here, that looks like a dome, and the pelvic diaphragms that look like domes this way, like a trampoline almost, they actually start becoming where they're not facing each other. So breathing doesn't happen effectively. People get very tight in the rhomboids when that happens, or tight in the neck. So as the center of mass starts to come back through the exercises and the Tai Chi itself, those diaphragms face each other. The ribs are in a better position in relation to the pelvis. The body can sink properly. It takes load out of areas that always have constant load. So we're working with these things every day of the 25 days. So you got to build a really big skill set. These are prehab exercises. They're exercises you do before you get injured. So it's knowing what biomechanics should be happening. So let's train that, make sure it's happening. And then when we do the Tai Chi movement, which is actually Tai Chi walking, it's actually quite a complex movement. Walking, just normal walking, is quite a complex movement. All rehab exercises are based off the gait cycle, things that should be happening through the different phases of the gait cycle. And then when we add arms to Tai Chi walking, that's even more complex. Okay, so Tai Chi is quite complex in terms of the biomechanics needed. Conceptually can be quite simple but profound. Rehab exercises really pulling what's this part of the body should be doing, make sure it's doing it. What's this part do? Make sure that's doing it, make sure they're working together. So that when you do your Tai Chi exercise, like, oh, that's good. I feel that connection. I feel more connected to my feet than ever. My feet can move more. My body feels more alive because the nervous system's more activated, but calmly activated. So all the best with this series.